No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you publicly go before the press to get elected to a presidency or a congressional system and you decide to use things that could hurt the cause of a situation that they have allowed to happen one way or the other, then that situation is it's ethically wrong. Now, will I express my views in Congress? You bet. Will I do it to get elected? No way. And there's a lot of things that are expressed in Congress that do not necessarily go across the airways. There's a lot of things about this war that are mentioned that way. In World War II, we stood behind our soldiers until it was over, and we won that battle. Since we've tried this other method, we have lost. And if we lose this battle that we're doing over there, it's not because of those soldiers not doing their job. It's because we have undermined their efforts. And I have a problem with that. And again, I don't like war. But what I'm saying is there's got to be some kind of common sense. You know, it's just plain reason when you look at that situation that the enemy is sitting there and listening, and they're utilizing that. And every time we make a stupid statement, we lose somebody's life. And I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that. I think a little more discretion and a little more wisdom needs to be put into that. And when it comes to an election, I would rather focus on issues that aren't going to hurt those people I serve.
Don't you think, though, that these are personal attacks that Murtha made? It wasn't just attacks on the military. These were personal attacks?
I have a real problem. If I start talking about these people, I'm doing the same thing they're doing.
I know, but
I try to stay away from that.
Yeah. Something needs to be done about it because these
then we need to get people
are in office, and they are supposed to be sitting there and conducting themselves with dignity and our country with dignity, and they are not.
The best way to teach a lesson is to have a penalty applied. Don't vote for them.
Right. Well, I think it's treasoning.
All right, Mary, thanks.
I agree with some of the things you're saying.
845-2155. Edward, thanks for holding. Edward?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Ed, I'm a World War II veteran. I worked in a paper mill for 44 years, and many times Obi shook my hand for votes, if you know what I'm talking. This message is for Daniel.
Yeah.
Many times he shook my hand for votes and so forth, and early on the morning shift one morning, I asked him, I says, I'm in the age bracket of the Notch babies. I guess we all know what the Notch babies are. And I asked him, who's in charge of this committee? And he says, well, I am. I said, well, why don't you do something about this? And he says, well, I can't do it alone. Everybody I don't get help. And I said, why the hell won't you take your shoe off and wrap it on the table and say, I need some help? Anyway, he took my phone number, my address, and everything, and he says, I'll call you within a week. That's over 20 years ago. I wrote him two personal letters, and he never answered them. So I hope Daniel kicks his butt and gets him right out of there.
All right.
Furthermore, about the war in Iraq, like I say, I'm a veteran. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. If we pull out of there, the Russians and the Chinese are licking their chops, and some of those other countries. And if we stay in there and stay strong, I believe we will pursue this what we're after there.
All righty. All right, Ed.
I just want to wish Daniel good luck in the election and get Dovey.
Thank you very much.
Out of there. Bye.
Thank you, Edward. 845-2155. Is this Henry?
Yes.
Hi, Henry. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to make a quick comment. The quickest.
You still there?
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Just turn your radio down. Go ahead and talk.
The quickest way to stop the wars is send the president and all the congressmen there, and you see how long the war would last.
Hopefully before I get elected.
That's all my comments.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's get Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? I'm not really for any politician anymore because I'm just so sick of them all. But I have to tell you, Daniel, that you are a breath of fresh air. I mean, listening to you, it's like I actually believe what you're saying and trust you to follow through on this. Dave Obey is a disgrace to Wisconsin. He's a disgrace to this country. He shouldn't be in office, and I hope people just have to learn that just because the guy's been there forever, don't keep voting for him. My daughter is going to Iraq next January, along with, I think, about 3,000 other Wisconsin National Guard soldiers.
32nd Brigade?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
The 32nd Brigade?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm familiar with
Actually, yes. And she'll be going over there. And, I'm proud of her, and she's doing what she needs to do to support this country. But I don't want her to come under harm's way by lack of funding, that sort of stuff. It's very frustrating because I've also had a cousin whose daughter was killed by an IED last November. And I said, the politicians, they need to support our soldiers and not say things like, we've lost the war or whatever. We haven't lost this war, and the only ones that will lose that war for us are the politicians.
All right.
And I just want to tell you, good luck. I'm going to pray for you. I pray for your son. I haven't heard somebody running for office that has excited me so much.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope I can continue to be that way.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie, very much. Let's get another call in before we wrap up for today. Terry, hi.
I'll make it quickly, thanks. Thank you, Pat, and whomever else for having this special American and special guest on this program. And I hope you have Mr. Mielke again. It seems he has a whole lot more to say yet.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to have him back here to educate the folks.
Yes, please. Thank you. And while Americans, I wish to say, that are being tracked, stalked, spied on, telephones are bugged, and on, yet over 30 million of illegal Mexicans are roaming our country on taxpayers' money. Understand they have free hospitalization, education, and they have increased the prison population, and taxpayers now have to build more prisons.
Right.
Yes, and I'd like to relate how an illegal Mexican who ran through a stoplight and hit my relative's car. In this case, she was fortunate not to be seriously injured. She could have been killed. The illegal ran away, and so she thought, wow, I have his license plate. As it turned out, it was an abandoned car. A stolen car. He abandoned it, but it was a stolen car with his license plate on there.
Most recent data I've heard is 48,000 people have been killed by illegals in this country since this last amnesty.
Thank you.
All right.
And that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for your
so much.
call, Terry. Any final thoughts for today?
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope that I can at least bring people together and we can start voting for our country again, and we can start bringing this together. I'd like to see us get off this partisan fighting and actually become Americans again and fight together. That's one thing I did like about our country before in World War II and earlier. When it came to crises, everyone was on the same side, and we need to return to that. We have a problem, and we need to solve it.
Okay, DanielMielke.com, Mielke. And you can learn more about him, and we will talk to him in the future.
Thanks, Tom, for the contribution.
No problem.